Oh, you know another topic that came up that I thought was pretty interesting is I've been watching, of course I always watch Anakin stream during the day, right? He plays Tekken and Killer 6 is on there all the time. He's hilarious. In fact, honestly, the real pull of that stream is Killer 6. Let's face the facts.
Hold on. I think we finally got to the situation, y'all. I think that's 1 damage. Is that 1 damage, Stream?
That's 1 damage.
Is that 1 damage,
That's 1
y'all?
damage.
Is that 1 damage? What I gotta do? Come on.
So, you know, I was watching that stream, and Anakin was mentioning that he's considering doing lessons, right? Private lessons on how to play Tekken, which I think is a great idea for anyone who wants to do it, right? Especially if there's a market for it, which it seems as though there is. People are asking him and shit. So, the question here is, how much does Anakin charge for lessons? Now, this isn't like you guys are telling me anything. What I want to know is what you think is fair. Because to me, I think that you shouldn't sell yourself short. I think that Anakin is one of the best Tekken players in the country. And I think that easily top 5, right? And I would say that if you were to get violin lessons from one of the top 5 violin players in the country, it would be pretty pricey. If you were to get piano lessons or any kind of lessons of any sort from the top 5 of anything in the country, it would be pretty expensive, right? It would be fucking expensive. One of the top 5 bow and arrow archers in the country. One of the top 5, fencers in the country or something like that, right? So if you were to take it seriously, right, it's gotta be expensive, right? I think that you shouldn't sell yourself short, you know? So in my mind, I thought 1 hour isn't a whole lot, right? How are you gonna give someone a lesson in an hour, right? So it's always gonna be more than an hour. So maybe like, yeah, $50 an hour, minimum 2 hours. I think that is like, right? I don't think that that's too much. I mean, I do think it's a lot. And I think that anyone who's willing to pay that is very serious about improvement with an expert. But at the same time, if you charge less than that, you know, it's kind of like you're selling yourself short. He's one of the best players in the country. Could you imagine, like, anyone would charge more than... I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. See, he says, damn, the game costs $60. You're right? That's one way to look at it, but it's not for you. If you're unable to understand this concept we're talking about, this is not for you. Because, like, you know, a bow and arrow only costs this much money, but lessons to use the bow and arrow are going to be more than that, right? So you're not thinking about it on the right level.
What are you doing?
You know what I mean? An arcade stick costs $200, $300. Game costs $60.
Damn content creator for Tekken.
Damn.
Stoner.
Temnost. Thanks for that generosity. I didn't even have to teach you how to play the game for an hour. Praise be to Umbasa. What were we talking about? I can't recall. Can you guys jog my memories? I think that he should charge like $50 an hour or close to it, minimum, you know, 2 hours or so. Because first of all, you can't really get anything done in 1 hour anyway, right? And second of all, it's like if you're gonna charge less than that, oh, what the fuck is that? What the hell's going on here? What was I saying? Oh yeah, so let's pick another person, right? Not Anakin, right? Let's pick...
I admire what you did.
Who are we gonna pick? Some Tekken player, like...
in the cargo bay, especially considering, well...
I don't know who, right? But let's say we pick someone, like Joey Fury, right?
Some hope.
Joey Fury, he's also a very high-level player, right? Or even, like, any player, right? You pick any player. Any one of them is gonna charge at least $20 or $30 an hour. At least, right? At least $20 or $30 for private lessons. And those people are not Anakin, right? If you ask me, Anakin and Jimmy J. Tran are two, like, you know, they are exemplary performers as far as American Tekken players. So, as good as anyone else would be, and they would still charge $20 or $30 an hour. So how could Anakin, being as, like, you know, at that level as he is, charge the same amount as them, right? So of course he has to put a premium on his time. I don't know. That's my thought. And people are bringing up Gutek's charging $100 an hour, and I've already talked about that before. Of course he should charge $100 an hour. It's not even like a matter of how good he is. It's a matter of what he's created for himself. You know, it's like people probably would pay $100 an hour just to talk to him for a fucking hour, right? So, you know, you're not looking at it right. I don't like the idea of private lessons at all.
It's brief.
I'm totally uninterested. And that's because I don't think I would be good at it. I don't really like questions. And, you know, I do a lot of, like, tutorials or, like, explanations, but I think one-on-one it's harder to ignore you than it is in the chat. I could just not look at you.
All the thick bitches.
Imagine, like, hey, 16-bit Nova, thanks. And roll Cryo, thanks very much. I can't really ignore a person if they're talking to me. You know, especially if they're paying me for my time. It's going to be hard for me to be like, hey, don't talk to me, all right? You know, that's not going to work. So it's just not I don't think it's going to work. Not for me. Also, it really is a lot like having a job, right? I mean, someone pays you for a service before you do it. I don't like that idea. That's like prostitution. No, I mean, kind of. I guess not. But it's close. I'm not into lessons. Hell no. Are you kidding me? I'll put a gun in my mouth. You guys are way too high on green marijuana for me to be able to tolerate that shit. No way. You don't listen, right? You hardly speak English. I've seen the way you type. You really need to focus on doing your homework. Alright? Don't worry about that shit. Go to school, do your homework, and listen to your mom. There's your fucking lesson. It's free.
Sammy, what are you doing, my friend? Shut up. Don't tell me how to drive.